Yeah. What's good? It's your boy Tone DeShields II. You guys are locked in on your dose of Chalk It Up Sports, where no matter if we win or if we lose, we just got to charge it to the game. I appreciate you guys for being here. Make sure you guys smash that like button, especially if you like what you hear, especially if you like what you see. Make sure you guys smash that subscription button as well. I really appreciate the love and the support you guys always give, right? New subscribers, old subscribers. It really doesn't matter to me, man. Love is love no matter where it comes from, and hate is hate no matter where it comes from. But I appreciate all the curses. I appreciate all the well wishes. Make sure you guys stay locked in. The content's only going to continue to get better. And you guys are really, really amazing at this support thing that you guys do. So give yourself some credit, pat yourself on the back, sit back, relax, crack yourself open a beer, or if you don't drink, crack yourself open the juicy juice. You know what I'm saying? Get your popcorn ready because we're going to have a real good show, okay? So once again, I appreciate you guys for being here. Smash that like button, stay engaged, continue to comment below. You guys know the vibes is always electric here at Chalk It Up Sports. Now, I really, really am in a tough position when it comes to James Bradberry. Friday, I believe it was, or was it Saturday? I think it was Saturday. He spoke to the media regarding his present and future with the Philadelphia Eagles. And it was a very interesting conversation he had with the reporters in Philadelphia. And I got to give the reporters credit. They pulled no punches. They came straight out the gun, no chaser. And they asked the tough questions. And James Bradberry seemed poised. He seemed calm. He seemed almost willing to answer their questions. Now, I'm going to give James Bradberry a ton of credit. James Bradberry has always displayed himself as a professional. He's always going to check all the boxes when it comes to being a team player. He's going to do his absolute best to never, ever rock the boat. I got to give him credit in that regard. That's not easy to do, especially in his situation. James Bradberry is in a situation that no NFL player wants to be in. Well, except for when you got your money already, right? James Bradberry has been paid very, very well by the Philadelphia Eagles. As a matter of fact, like he mentioned, he still has 2 years left on his current deal. 1 year is still guaranteed. So the Philadelphia Eagles are still on the hook for some money when it comes to James Bradberry. Nonetheless, he's a professional, and he handled his press conference very, very well. I must give him credit for that, right? And the media got straight to it. They asked him, how's his transition been to the safety position? How have things looked for him? How have things been for him within the Philadelphia Eagles organization, knowing the things that we know, right? And before I get into that, I want to give a shout out to my man Terry Hayes. I want to give a shout out to my man JDM Life. I want to give a shout out to all you guys that are locked in. Continue to funnel in. The content's only going to get better as you guys come in. Continue to smash that like button. And if you got to dip out, it's all love. Make sure you guys smash that like button. I know this is a late stream on a Sunday evening, and I know some of you guys are probably getting ready for work on Monday. You guys are probably preparing the kids' lunch, right? Maybe you guys are having a late dinner. Maybe you're sitting back watching one of your favorite shows, whatever it may be. But you guys are locked in with me, and you guys are giving me the opportunity to captivate you this evening, and I take that very seriously. So I appreciate you guys all for being here. Imani Bentley, what's good, my man? So they asked him, how are things with you moving to safety? And he pretty much said things are fine. I'm learning the position. It's different. You got to communicate more, things of that nature, right? And they took it a step further, asking whose idea was it to move you to safety, actually? Because it came out of nowhere. And no one really expected that to happen. At least I didn't, right? And when it did happen, me personally, I thought the Philadelphia Eagles were trying to elevate his value during that time, because it came, I believe, right after post June 1st cuts, that deadline. If I'm not mistaken, if I have my timeline correct, I believe it happened either right before or right after the post June 1st cuts. And Bradberry being moved to safety, in my opinion, was a clear sign of desperation by somebody. At that time, that's what I felt. I felt like, oh, the Eagles are trying to up his value, so they can move him. They're trying to up his value so he could potentially become trade bait at some point. Okay, fair enough, right? So my perspective was it couldn't have been his idea. And then on top of that, when he first got moved to safety, the first day he's supposed to work out at the position, he gets hurt. So it just seemed fishy to me at the time. I didn't believe what I was hearing. It seemed a little sketchy to me. And I didn't know how much of this idea was James Bradberry's. I didn't know if he was on board with this as much as they made it seem. Once again, James Bradberry is a professional and he doesn't rock the boat. So I was unsure at that time, but James Bradberry yesterday provided some clarity. What's going on, Rufus? And I do believe they're doing that, by the way. It's nowhere they're not. But yesterday he provided some more clarity in regards to his standing with the Philadelphia Eagles and the move to safety. And they said, whose idea was it? He answered, it was my idea. He claimed it was his idea to move to safety. And then when asked why, he took a pause for a few seconds. He thought to himself, then he looked at the reporter and said, why not? Why not? Well, for starters, they paid you to play corner. Secondly, you were formerly a second-team All-Pro at the position in 2022. And one would think that doesn't just disappear from your skill set or your Rolodex, right? One would think that, hey, James Bradberry, you're a cornerback. Why are you trying out at safety? You're not some walk-on. You're not some undrafted guy. You're not somebody you're not somebody that's on a one-year deal. You're getting paid big money to play cornerback. Yet it was your idea to move to safety. Okay, I'll bite. And then they asked him more questions. Credit to the Philadelphia Eagles media. Credit to the Philadelphia media for continuing to drill home the questions. They asked him, okay, sure, why not, right? But why though, right? How do you benefit from moving to safety? How do the Philadelphia Eagles benefit from moving you to safety? Where's the win here for you, especially coming off of arguably one of your worst seasons of your career? Where's the upside for you here? His response essentially, and I'm paraphrasing a lot, right? So follow me here. Essentially, his perspective was, well, I didn't have the best 2023 campaign. I got to give him credit for that. He acknowledged and took accountability for how shitty 2023 was. I got to give him credit for that. I have to give James Bradberry credit for that. And I'm going to get to you guys' comments, by the way. So please stay active. I'm going to get to them. But I got to set the stage here. He acknowledged and took accountability for 2023. I respect that, right? And to take it a step further, he even had the foresight, so he says. He had the foresight in knowing that he's going to be 30 or is 30. He had one of his worst seasons of his career, if not the worst. And right after he got paid, his perspective was the Philadelphia Eagles, knowing also he knows how this league works. Your job is never, ever safe, no matter how much you're getting paid. And you're only as good as your previous season. You're only as good as your last play. So his mindset was, knowing what I know about how that 2023 season went down, the likelihood of the Philadelphia Eagles recalibrating that position is extremely high. He said it in the press conference. I came off of a terrible season, and knowing that, I had a strong feeling they would draft people at my position, a la Quinn Mitchell and Cooper DeJean. And on top of that, he even mentioned how having Isaiah Rodgers on the roster was a little bit of a trigger for him in knowing that his spot is not guaranteed here. And again, he knows this is a business, so he's going to treat it as such. And once again, I want to give him credit. He handled that interview. He's been handling his offseason like a professional. You've not seen him on social media. You haven't heard anything from his agent or through the grapevine about him trying to force his way out. You haven't heard anything about that. His mindset is, well, I'm still on his team, and I'm going to operate as if I'm going to be on his team, and I'm going to do everything possible to increase my value so I can be a piece for this team or wherever I may be. See, he acknowledges his present, but he also acknowledges that his future is uncertain. A lot of respect to him. Like I said, he acknowledged and took accountability for how bad that season was, and we all knew it. It's unforgivable. It's unforgivable. And based off the Philadelphia Eagles' moves throughout this offseason and Isaiah Rodgers obviously being activated. See, Isaiah Rodgers was signed last year, but he just couldn't play. And then Quinn Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, they're drafted in the 2024 draft, in the NFL draft. So again, you have a season like James Bradberry had at his age. Oh yeah, that's unforgivable. And teams are very unlikely to give you another shot because the Philadelphia Eagles aren't in a position to take their chances on players that they don't believe can cut it or get it done. The Philadelphia Eagles are a Super Bowl contender. Believe that, Philadelphia. Believe that, world. Believe that, America. The Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl contenders, whether you like it or not, whether you're the opposition or not. They're contenders, and there's no time to babysit someone who can't do their job properly. The best players have to go on the field. If you can't hack it, grab your jacket and your umbrella. It's going to be cold tonight. I can't help you get where you need to go. I'm only taking people with me that know what they're doing. But I digress. With all the extra bodies being added to the cornerback room, on top of that, they did draft Kelly Ringo last year. So that's 4 names I gave you. Quinn Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, that they picked up in 2024, Isaiah Rodgers, who was picked up in 2023 but couldn't play, and then Kelly Ringo, who was drafted in 2023. That's 4 corners. Not only are they 4 corners, they're significantly younger than you, with higher upside. They're more athletic. They're more rangy. They're more twitchy. So he's not in a strong position here with the Philadelphia Eagles. He knows that. He looks at the room and says, I can't run with these young bucks. I can't run with these young guys. He knows that in his heart. He knows he can't run with these guys. He knows he's not as athletic as these guys. Hence why he wanted to get ahead of things and work out at the safety position to try to either maintain or elevate his current value. At the end of the day, he's a football player. He said it. He said, look, I'm a football player, right? I played a little safety in high school, whatever. Obviously, this is the NFL. It's very different, but, and the task, the role is different. You got to communicate a lot more, things like that. But he's betting on himself. And he even acknowledged that at the safety position, by his estimation, there are already 2 starters there. Maybe he just leaked something for us. We obviously know CJ is a starter, right? But Reed Blankenship, I know some of us aren't all I know there isn't a consensus about Reed Blankenship's status with the Philadelphia Eagles, be it he's a starter or a backup. I know there isn't a consensus with that. Some people believe Reed Blankenship is a number 3 safety on a Super Bowl winning team, or he's a big nickel safety, right? He's not a starter, but you can bring him on the field. Some people believe that he's limited. Some people believe, Reed Blankenship is probably just starting to get his stride. Reed Blankenship is entering year 3, by the way. So The cornerback room is packed. He doesn't want to deal with that. The safety room lacks depth. They're also dealing with injuries with Sidney Brown being on the PUP list. He will be back, though. But James Bradberry sees an opportunity here. And once again, you guys, I'm definitely going to get to your comments. I see you here. Shout out to my man Drake from State Farm, holding it down in Hawaii. Jinx Wolf, Ray Bailey, Rufus Wallace, J62 Moon, the real RMP. I see you guys. I appreciate you guys. I'm going to get to all you guys' comments, right? Just let me cook here. James Bradberry acknowledges the terrible season. He acknowledges that the cornerback room is crowded. He acknowledges that the safety room has 2 starters. So the Eagles view Reed Blankenship as a starter. He gave us that. He gave us that. And he's on the hot seat in terms of, will he be traded? Will he be cut? The Eagles still owe him money, by the way. So there are some variables here that affect whether or not James Bradberry will be here or not. James Bradberry had no legs last year. He had no athleticism. But he said in that interview, he's a big body. He's always been one of the bigger corners in any cornerback room he's in. So he felt like in his mind, I can translate that physicality to the safety position. But he also said, in order for me to win at that position, I need to be more physical than I've been in 2023 in years past. I like his perspective and I respect the man. We may feel how we feel about it, but I respect the man. This brother is keeping it real. And he acknowledges this is an uphill battle. I respect the game, and so does he. He said out his mouth, that safety position requires you to communicate, requires you to be able to tackle and be more physical. And those were none of the things he were in 2023. So he looks at it as, this is my chance to prove myself. He's an older corner, just entered his 30s, and he's going to be competing with all these young guys. CJ younger than him. Reed Blankenship, younger than him. Quinn Mitchell, younger than him. Cooper DeJean, younger than him. Isaiah Rodgers, younger than him. Keely Ringo, younger than him. In this room, he's a dinosaur. And the apocalypse or the media shower is coming. Can he dodge it? It all remains to be seen. He said something that was very interesting. He said, right now, I'm still on the team, because the media kept asking him, have you heard anything about trade rumors? Do you think they're going to cut you? Do you think they're going to move on? Like, what do you think their plan is here? And he kept repeating this, and I respect it. He's a professional. He's not going to say more than what he needs to say, but he's going to say enough so both sides of the fence know, hey, this is a real situation here. This isn't hearsay. He's being honest. I am not in good standing on this football team, but I'm going to prove that I can still play the game at a high level. I respect the game. I respect the perspective. He said, right now, I'm still on the team. And while I'm on the team, I'm going to find my role. He says this in spite of the Eagles being deep at corner and having 2 starters at safety. You got to love it. You got to love it. The competition is at an all-time high in Philadelphia, you guys. Philadelphia, America, you got to love it. You don't want people in that building that's satisfied. You don't want people in that building that's just lollygagging. James Bradberry is taking his football future very seriously. But it ain't about, but his situation is unique because it ain't about the money. He got money. He good. It's about being competitive, proving you still got it. And I can't hate on a brother that's trying to prove value. I can't get mad at him for trying to prove his value. But if you ask me, I think his future is all but written in stone. It's just a matter of who picks up the rocks. I think the Philadelphia Eagles are going to move on from James Bradberry before the season even starts. They're so deep at corner. I don't think he'll be able to make the impact that he would like to make at safety. I think the Philadelphia Eagles are high on Sidney Brown. I think the Philadelphia Eagles like Reed Blankenship. If they didn't, they wouldn't have given him the additional year on his current contract. Obviously, they brought in CJ GJ and paid him. Will Mekhi Gardner be able to elevate at the safety position? He's another corner who transitioned to safety recently. He came in as a corner. Will the Philadelphia Eagles make another move in free agency for a safety? So maybe there is a thread of hope for James Bradberry, but when you're paying a guy that kind of money, you don't want him on the bench. That's just business. You paying an asset big money, or you're paying someone big money to be an asset, but they've become a liability. You might got to cut your losses there and move on from them. Now, there have been injuries throughout the offseason or through training camp thus far. So is there a chance a team takes a chance on James Bradberry? The Vikings, they've suffered a significant injury at the cornerback position. Somebody who was slated to be a starter. I forget the brother's name. I'm going to make sure I got it here. I'm going to make sure I am on my P's and Q's. So be patient with me here. But the Vikings experienced a significant injury at the cornerback position. The Rams experienced a major loss at the cornerback position. Cornerback Darian Kendrick, drafted in 2022 as a 6th rounder. He was slated to be a starter for the Rams towards ACL. Could they make a move for a corner via free agency or trade market? The Vikings, cornerback Mekhi Blackman, projected starter, tore his ACL in the first practice of the year. Could they make a trade for a corner or a tech free agency with it? The Eagles don't have the greatest safety depth. Could they make a move in free agency and pick up somebody? So there is a path here for James Bradberry to get on the field somewhere. But I think the Philadelphia Eagles are off of him. I also think the Philadelphia Eagles look at guys like Cooper DeJean, Quinion Mitchell, and Kelee Ringo as guys that are versatile, that can not only play outside, but can also play big nickel, that can also play in dime situations. James Bradberry spoke about how, he moved around a lot last year. He played outside. He played nickel. He was in dime situations, right? So he feels as though he feels like he should carry that over into the latter part of his career. Here's the itch, though. Here's the itch. Follow me here. And then we're going to get to your comments. Vic Fangio was asked about James Bradberry's transition to safety. And Vic Fangio didn't seem too optimistic. He said very clearly and succinctly, he's learning the position, things of that nature. Historically, the transition from corner to safety, not many guys have been successful. It's not as easy as people make it to be. You have to do more in terms of communication. You have to be able to tackle. You got to be more physical. You are the last line of defense. It's not as easy as people make it out to be. So, he's learning. He's in the room. We're putting him in position to win. But it's not going to be an easy transition. That doesn't give me any optimism with James Bradberry at safety. Hence why I believe he's ultimately going to be moved on from. Either he's going to be cut or he's going to be traded. And the more injuries that happen throughout training camp, the higher his value becomes, no matter what people want to feel about that. But another itch. This season is guaranteed for James Bradberry. The Eagles are on the hook for that. But whoever they trade him for, or whoever they trade him to, they're going to be in an interesting situation because, again, James Bradberry has 2 years left on his current deal. This year is guaranteed. The following year isn't. So whoever trades for him essentially is getting him for free. Obviously, they may have to give up maybe some assets to get him, maybe a 6th-round pick or a 5th-round pick, who knows? But James Bradberry, if he gets traded, whoever trades for him, the year you have him, it's a rental. You got him for free. You can cut him after the season, or if it doesn't work for you. So that ups his value too. The team that trades for him won't have to pay him this year because the Eagles are on the hook for that. Let's get to the comments, you guys. I really do appreciate you guys for being here. We've been live for about 27 minutes. We got 62 people on the live stream. You guys are amazing. Continue to smash that like button. Continue to stay engaged in the content. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the show, especially if you're new. I appreciate all newcomers, and I love my OGs here. I love my OG subscribers. You guys are locked in to Chalk It Up Sports, where no matter if we win or if we lose, we just got to charge it to the game. My man, Coach Corey, he said he got cooked last year. James Bradberry is worth a 7th-round pick. Oof, that's crazy. Rufus Wallace said Bradberry 30. He sure is. Rufus says, what do you think we will get for him? Maybe you can get a 6th or a 5th for James. Maybe, but he's 30. Maybe you can get a 6th-round pick, maybe. China says, if Justin Simmons is so good, why is he still a free agent? Because he wants more money, China. He wants a lot of money. Justin Simmons, if you want to, do your own due diligence, and I appreciate you for commenting. If you want to do your own research or do your own due diligence, Justin Simmons is a multi-time Pro Bowler and All-Pro, consecutive years. He's coming off of a Pro Bowl and All-Pro season. Also, I think Justin Simmons is 30 years old. Justin Simmons is 30 years old, and he'll be 31 on November 19th. So a lot of teams are skeptical about paying a 30-year-old, soon-to-be 31-year-old safety that kind of money that he's looking for. He's coming off of a contract where he was making an average salary of about $15 million. He's looking for something around that number. Teams aren't really going to jump out the window for a guy 30 going on 31 looking for $15 million at the safety position. If you look at the safety market this past during the free agency period this year or in 2024, if you were locked in on free agency, only one safety got north of $10 million annually, and that was Xavier McKinney, former Giant safety. The Green Bay Packers paid him about 13, 14 million, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe the number's a little off, but they paid him north of $10 million per season. That was the biggest safety contract this offseason. Past that, you got CJ GJ, and he got paid about $8 or $9 million by the Philadelphia Eagles per season, and the number just gets lower by from there. But again, Justin Simmons is accomplished, but he believes that he deserves more money than what he's been offered. So that's why he's still a free agent. But trust me, I don't think it's because of skill set. I think he's still a free agent because teams don't want to invest that kind of money at that position at somebody that age. And also, he's holding out for more money. But I don't think he's going to get the number he's looking for. So he's going to have to bend at some point. Not break, but he's going to have to bend at some point. So I hope that answers your question, China. He is a very good he is a very good player. Very good player. J62 Moon says, the way I see it, Tone, Bradberry looking at his last year, he getting $20 million regardless if he's a cornerback, safety, or a bench ride. I'd be humble, man. I'd be a humble man too. Hey, he said it though. Great point by you, Jay. If you and I brought it up as well. The money, this ain't a money conversation, right? The money is locked. At least for this season. He's good this season. He's got guaranteed money this season. He is good. He even said it in his press conference, which was funny to me. He said, I got 2 years left on my deal. This year's guaranteed. Next year's not. So, that's why he's so calm. Like, they asked him in a press conference. They said, were you worried? How was your off season? Was it a tough off season for you? Was it hard for you mentally? He was like, no. He was like, nah. Hey, listen, the money in the bank. What you stressing about? The money is in the bank. Ain't shit to stress about. So I feel you, Jay. I'd be a humble man too. But James Bradberry has always been that guy, though. He's always been a professional. But to your point, though, I'd remain a professional as long as my money was there. And trust me, it is there. Rufus Wallace says, for sure, other teams are in need now. Suspension, injuries, it's coming. Safety coming. I don't know if it's Simmons, though. Yeah, it all depends. It all depends on what Simmons is looking for. But you're right. James Bradberry's trade market is slowly starting to percolate. And we're still very early in training camp. So we'll see how it goes. Kyle Kokorski says, Tone, I think the next move is for an edge rusher. So you think they go edge rusher in free agency or before the season starts? Okay. I mean, at the position, Bryce Huff, Josh Sweat, Nolan Smith, Brandon Graham, Jalix Hunt. Zach Bond is a pass rushing option because of what he's done with the Saints. It's a possibility, though. It's a possibility. But I don't know. Kyle Saunders says, I don't think they move off of Bradberry because he has more knowledge over the rooks. Vic isn't going to put anyone on the field that doesn't understand the assignment. Bradberry has already ran his type of offense or defense. I can understand that perspective, right? I can understand that perspective, but I would totally agree with you if Vic Fangio didn't say, I don't care what your experience level is. I don't care where you were drafted. I don't care how much money you make. It's either you could play or you can't. And if you could play, you're on the field. If you can't, you're sitting down. So I don't question, and this is where James Bradberry, this is where it sucks for him, right? I don't question James Bradberry's aptitude at the position. I'll say that again. I don't question James Bradberry's aptitude. I don't question his ability to grasp concepts. He even said it in his press conference. He says, I trust my ability to learn the safety position. I trust my knowledge. I trust my preparation. I trust my mental capabilities. But I don't think James Bradberry's exit with the Philadelphia Eagles is going to be because of his mental capabilities. I think it's going to be because of his physical incapabilities. Last year, James Bradberry, not for lack of trying, but he wasn't a good player. And I don't think it was because of the mental game. It was because of the physical part of the game. He wasn't tackling well. He couldn't keep up with players. He was getting burnt time and time again. He physically couldn't keep up with the players that he was supposed to carry. So now he's thinking about defending tight ends. He said in his press conference, he says, I know I can guard tight ends. Tight ends are slower than wide receivers. He's openly admitting to you, I'm slower. And these young guys in his cornerback position, I can't keep up. So again, I don't think his exit or why the team is looking at him lowly, I don't think it's because of his mental capabilities. I think it's because of the physical incapabilities. So Vic Fangio made it very clear. I don't care what your experience is. I don't care how much money you make. I don't care what you did last year or the year before that. I don't care where you was drafted. It's either you could play or you can't. Either I trust you or I don't. Very simple. Thank you, Kyle or Kyler. I appreciate your comment. China says, when I think of the Eagle safety position, I think of B-Dog. I think of Sidney Brown. I don't see JB staying either. Yeah. I don't think he's physical enough for the position. I don't think he tackles well. I don't think he has the speed. He's going to have to deal with running backs more, tight ends more. Those guys are bigger and they're shiftier than ever before. I don't think it's going to be as simple of a transition as he makes it seem. Christopher Baker says, I still think they want Simmons, but are waiting to move Bradberry first. It's a possibility. It all depends on what Simmons is willing to acquiesce to. Rufus says he's a role. His role is player coach, period. I'm not playing the player coach what they paying him. They got to move on from that. Kyle Kokorski, what's going on, my friend? He says, Tone, I think the cornerback 2 job is between Ringo and Mitchell. Hey, don't sleep on Isaiah Rodgers. Don't sleep on him. Daniels T, he says, love your content, my brother. Keep being great. Hey, I appreciate you, my man. As always, love. Thank you so much. Thank you. All right. Jinx Wolf says, I like Reed Blankenship. Yeah. If I had to give you a percentage of my like of Reed Blankenship, I'll give you 70-30, 65-35, with 65 and 70 being the positive side. I like Reed as well. But I think Reed Blankenship is more of a box safety. I don't think he's a coverage safety at all. I think he's more of a box safety. He tackles well. He plays the run well. He's very physical. He's fearless. He plays angles very well. But again, I don't know what his ceiling is, and we're going to talk about Reed Blankenship later on in the show a little bit. So yeah, that's where I'm at with Reed Blankenship. All right, let's get some of these newer comments here. My man Mike Call, what's going on, my brother? Always good to see you, my friend. Hope all is well. He says, is there a reason we didn't drop Bradberry and keep Reddick? Well, the Reddick situation is still not solved, right? Reddick is still fighting for his money with the New York Jets. So that's not a good situation to be in. And the last thing you want is a disgruntled player that's looking for his money, right? That's the last thing you want on your team when you're trying to really build something here and you need everybody rowing in the same direction. The last thing you want is a player who's looking for his money and he's sitting out and holding out. You don't want that distraction. The New York Jets are dealing with that distraction right now with Haason Reddick. Haason didn't show up for OTAs. He didn't show up for mandatory minicamp, and he hasn't shown up for training camp yet. He's losing money right now, but he's betting on himself and believes he's worth north of $20 million. The Philadelphia Eagles didn't want to give him that. Would I love Haason Reddick here in Philadelphia? Absolutely, Mike. I would love to have Haason Reddick here still. But whatever Vic Fangio plans to do with his defense, whatever conversation he had with Howie Roseman, he said, listen, on top of him wanting more money, I actually don't think he fits what I'm trying to do here. So I don't think the Bradberry and Reddick situation is on equal footing here. I think those are two uniquely different situations here. But also, Reddick's situation is getting very, very turbulent with the New York Jets. And the Philadelphia Eagles, from their perspective, they dodged the bullet. They dodged the bullet from their perspective. That's how I see it. But I don't question Haason Reddick's talent or his production. I don't. The Reddick situation was strictly business, whereas the Bradberry situation is strictly football. My man, Coach Corey, he says he's trying to get the most. It's his last deal. He can ball. Or he's talking about the Reddick situation, I believe. Kyler Saunders says, I don't see Bradberry being moved off of this year. Bradberry knows Vic's system. From 22, Vic isn't going to put anyone on the field who isn't capable. They need the vet in that position because Maddox is injury prone. Listen, man. All right. I mean, we all have our different perspectives. We all have our own way of digesting the situation here, but I don't know, man. We'll see. I could be wrong. It's going to be what it's going to be. You could be wrong. It's going to be what it's going to be, but we'll ultimately see how it pans out. I appreciate your perspective, though, Kyler. Eagle Slayer says, as a linebacker, I would say Bradberry is food. Yeah, man, at that safety position, you got to be able to tackle consistently. You got to play tackling angles very well. You got to be physical. James Bradberry hasn't proven that. But you know who has? Reed Blankenship. You know who has? Sidney Brown. It's an uphill battle for him. It's an uphill battle for him no matter where he goes or no matter where he sits in the Eagles organization. Ralph Long says, chalk it up. Can you please give a shout out to my sister, Debbie? Debbie Long. What's going on, beautiful? want to give you a shout out. Your brother Ralph, he's speaking highly of you right now. And I want to let you know that as long as you're an Eagles fan, I got a lot of love for you, girl. I don't know if it's your birthday or whatever it may be, but regardless, I got a lot of love for you. Shout out to your brother Ralph for for planting the seed for me to show you love. Okay? Shout out to you. You know, I hope you're having an amazing day. I hope everything that you desire, everything that you want in life is coming your way. I wish you nothing but success, prosperity, and positivity. Much love to you, Debbie. Miss Debbie Long, of course. And shout out to Ralph. Now, Debbie, I don't know if you're married. Maybe your last name isn't Long anymore. I don't know. But shout out to Debbie. And shout out to Ralph. I really do appreciate you guys for locking in on the show. Hey, Debbie, I don't know if you're subscribed or whatever. I don't know if you're watching the show consistently, but lock in with me. Watch the show, subscribe, hit that like button, Each one, teach one. One hand, wash the other, baby girl. But shout out to Debbie. Shout out to Ralph. I appreciate y'all support. All right. Let's see here. Eagle City says, I'll sign him for a year. I think he's referencing Justin Simmons, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's what he's referencing, Justin Simmons. Sorry, you guys. A lot of your comments are rolling in, so I'm trying to get to a lot of them. Sorry about this if I'm skipping over people, but I'm doing my best here. Sorry. He also says he's not getting it. He got to go to the highest bidder. You're talking about Justin Simmons, I assume. Look, Justin, but here, to your point, right? A lot of the teams, a lot of these organizations, they spent the money. They spent the money they're willing to spend. They spent the big money that they're willing to spend, right? So Justin Simmons, I don't think he's going to get the money he's looking for, but he's definitely going to go to the highest bidder. But here's the thing, though: free agency has passed. All the bidders won't be bidding at the same time. So I think Justin Simmons is essentially going to sign once training camp comes to an end. I think Justin Simmons is going to be on the football team maybe a week or two before the season starts. He doesn't want to go through training camp. He's waiting, and he should at this point. But to your point, I think he will go to the highest bidder if there is multiple suitors at the same time. J62 Moon says Packers paid all that money for McKinney to get burnt the fuck up week one. Yeah, McKinney is going to get cooked week one. Best believe that. China says, okay, I see. Thanks for schooling me. Well, I just want to inform you. That's all, China. That's all it is. It's all love, baby girl. It's all love. It's all love. That's what I'm here for. Little G Griffith says, I'm a big fan of Eagles 2020. I'm a big fan of the Eagles 2024 season. Better be Eagles win 14-3. I'm going to be an uncle. It's a girl. Shout out to Little G going being an uncle, man. Shout out to the baby girl. Welcome to this crazy place called Earth. You know what I mean? Eagle City says he gave us all he had his first year. He cooked now. Oh, yeah, Bradberry. Yeah. I don't know. Eagle City also says, I'm letting them young guys play. That's how you develop them. Got to play Smith and Hunt. At least see what they got. I agree. Christopher Baker says, this DT room is too thin for me. Once upon a time, we had Fletch, Sue, Linval, Davis, and Milton. Yeah, that's a luxury. That was a luxury, my friend, having all those guys. But to your point, though, I think it's a little thin, too. That's my opinion. I think it's a little thin, too. I'm of the mindset that they're going to maybe sign another one closer to the season, maybe midway. But Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, Milton Williams, they still have Marlon Tuipulotu. They still have PJ Mustapha on the roster, so there's 5 DTs. But PJ Mustapha, what's his ceiling? What can he really give you? They still got Moro Ojomo. Okay, has he elevated his game, right? Again, I mentioned Marlon T. Marlon T's been with the Philadelphia Eagles for quite some time. I think this is Marlon T's contract year, or maybe he's entering year 3. But they got bodies, but beyond Milton Williams, do you trust those bodies? So I feel you, Christopher. Eagle Slayer says Fangio gave that speech like Vermila Invincible. Veteran rookie best players will play, period. Yeah, man. Only the best players play. Simple as that. Rufus Wallace says they would target him each game. They still made no adjustments. Talking about Bradberry, yeah, he was a liability. But remember, the Eagles were a liability coaching wise too. Sean Desai, Matt Patricia, it was a shit show. Lonely B, welcome to the show. I appreciate you. Lonely B says cornerback has too many young players who need reps. Bradberry getting those reps makes the team worse a year from now. I agree with you. Eagle City says Milton, Ajomo, Marlon T got to step up. Let them young guys play. You see what Kansas City doing, developing the young talent. Now they're trying to three-peat. I agree with that too. I agree. You got to get those young boys reps because the more they play, the more they'll settle in. You got to trust them. But here's what's interesting though. The Eagles are Super Bowl contenders. They want to win now. So maybe they are in a position to let those guys get some reps, but at the same time, maybe they need another veteran. The veteran in the DT room is Milton Williams. That's crazy, right? But I think Milton Williams is going to have a tremendous season. He's getting more snaps because Fletcher isn't here. I think Milton Williams is going to eat. Coach Corey says Bradberry's ass. He gave us 1 year. No one is trading for him. You'd be surprised, man. You'd be surprised. Teams get desperate around this time. You'd be surprised. You will be surprised. But I'm not mad at your logic, though. K. Robinson, what's going on? Coach Corey also says Reed is okay, but he's not top tier. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. But here's something that I think doesn't get discussed enough about Reed Blankenship. I might as well talk about it now. Reed is still a young guy. I mean, Reed is only entering year 3 in the NFL. Yes, last year was his first year starting. Has Reed Blankenship reached his ceiling? I don't know if I want to jump out the window and say that quite yet. Can he get better? It's a possibility. He's still relatively a young player in NFL years. So, or a young player in terms of his how long he's been in the league. So can he get better? Is there another level that Reed can take his game to? It's a possibility, but for all we know, Coach Corey is right. He's okay. Not top tier. He's okay. D Mizzle was good. K. Robinson says Bradberry didn't play well last year in what they asked him to do. There really is no need for the slander. It shows a maturity. Yeah. I mean, it was a mess all last year, but even then, no. Bradberry was a liability. He couldn't tackle. He was getting beat. Like before they even swapped Matt Patricia and Sean Desai, Bradberry was food all season. So I don't know. I guess it's all about perspective. Eagle City wants to see Cooper DeJean at safety. Yeah, I would love to see that too. That's my personal preference. I want to see that. I want to see that young boy at safety. Oh man. Where was I? All right. Mom Dukes, what's going on, sweetheart? It's my mom here. Carolyn Palmer. She says, hit that like button. I love you too, mama. Make sure you guys hit that like button. The content is in full effect. Make sure you guys hit that like button. I appreciate all the love and support you guys provide, man. It means a lot to me. I'm your guy, Tone DeShields II. You guys are locked in on Chalk It Up Sports, where no matter if we win or if we lose, we just got to charge it to the game. Stay locked in, y'all. The content gets better. We got some more topics to hit other than the Bradberry situation. J62 Moon with the $4.99 donation. Thank you, Jay. I really do appreciate your investment in Chalk It Up Sports. It means a lot to me. He says Packers are going to second guess their decision getting McKinney after Devontae and AJ dice his ass up week 1. I agree with you 100%. AJ Brown and Devontae Smith and Dallas Goedert and Saquon Barkley are going to give McKinney hell. They're going to give McKinney hell. That's my perspective. Now, granted, the Packers do have Jair Alexander. I think they still have Rasul Douglas. Do they? Oh, wait. No, I think Rasul Douglas plays for... Oh, he plays for the Bills now. Okay, he's played for the Bills now. Okay, I'll take that back. But he was okay. Yeah, I'll take that back. He wasn't on Green Bay. He got traded mid-season. All right. Nonetheless, though. Wow. Russell Douglas had a good season last year. Anyway. Where was I? Yeah, Devontae and AJ going. They're food. They're food, Jay. So I'm with you on that. Thank you again for the $4.99 super chat. I really do appreciate that, my friend. And also, if anybody else wants to donate to the channel, all you got to do is go to that chat box, hit the little money symbol or the super chat button. You can drop a super sticker. You can drop a super chat. If you're watching this live stream after the fact, right? I'm going to give a shout out to my people who always double back and rewatch the live streams, or who maybe missed the live stream and then are watching it on their own time. I'm so grateful for you guys as well. You guys are so valuable. You guys are foundational to this channel. So I appreciate you guys. But yeah, if anybody wants to donate after the fact, you can do a super thanks, which allows you to send a donation via the comment section under the video after the live stream ends. So again, entirely optional, entirely up to you. I appreciate all the investment you guys have in me. It means a lot. Thank you, Jay. K. Robinson says a lot of talk from people who don't play in camp. K. Robinson, love her some James Bradberry. All right, let's transition to another topic here. Hey, Rufus, take care, my friend. I appreciate you. Let's transition to another topic here. I want to talk to you guys about Kellen Moore's press conference, right? Kellen Moore's press conference was very, very fascinating because he gave some insight as to his relationship and his chemistry with Jalen Hurts, who's been having a strong training camp thus far. Now, granted, Jalen had a solid training camp last year. Obviously, the season went the way it went. I apologize if there's any connectivity issues here. Wi-Fi is kind of going through a little bit of a up and down thing here. So I hope I'm not glitching for you guys on your end. I hope I'm not. But Kellen Moore, Jalen's having a good training camp, in Kellen Moore's offense, in his system. From what I've been hearing, Jalen has been looking very smooth. He's been in command, and Kellen Moore said this, right? Just dissecting Kellen Moore's press conference. He talked about how the goal for training camp is early on. There's an installation process where they want to expose the players to a wide range of concepts. And as training camp continues to progress, they're going to begin to narrow down those concepts and begin to hone in on establishing an identity and locking in what they really love to do and developing variations of what they love to do. So I like that, right? Let's expose the players to everything that we have. And then let's start to lock in and hone in on this identity we're trying to carve here. He also talked about Jalen Hurts' dual threat ability being an asset. And the overall plan is to find the right spots to utilize that running ability and not abuse it, right? Jalen is a very good runner. For the most part, he protects himself very well. And he's a very good passer of the football. He delivers the ball with authority in the pocket. He's also confident in his ability as well. He throws an amazing deep ball. He throws with amazing anticipation. So there's a skill set Jalen Hurts has that Kellen Moore wants to be able to take advantage of, but you also don't want to abuse it as well, right? That dual threat ability is a gift, but you also don't want it to turn into a curse, right? Shout out to my father, my dad, Tone DeShields II. I appreciate you, Dad, for locking in on the content as always. You my biggest supporter. You lock in every chance you get. You invest in me without you invest in me without any doubt in your mind. You believe I'm limitless. You believe I can achieve heights that I sometimes don't see for myself, Dad. So I really do appreciate you for always supporting me the way you do. This is my father, Antonio DeShields Sr., and my mother also is in a live stream, Carolyn Palmer. So again, my parents, they're my biggest supporters. My wife as well, my brother. My family loves what I do here. They support me. They watch the content. They super chat. They invest. They're great. They're great, man. I can't take that for granted. I have so much support to get this stuff done. And I want to continue to make them proud here. So shout out to my mom, Carolyn Palmer, and also shout out to my father. Shout out to my father here. Antonio DeShields Sr. Getting back to the topic at hand, though, you guys, Kellen Moore spoke about Jalen Hurts' dual threat ability. He also spoke about how Jalen has been very smooth with the offense. He's been delivering the ball with command. He's been authoritative with the offense. He's been smooth in his operation of the offense. He's been really confident. He's been really, really loose, and we can see that, right? He's been pretty flawless so far throughout training camp. He's been pretty flawless. And he also spoke about the Jalen Hurts and Cam Jurgens connection. Now, obviously, Cam Jurgens is taking over for Jason Kelce. Jason Kelce, future Hall of Famer, multi-time All-Pro, Pro Bowler, Super Bowl champion, has arguably the most popular sports podcast out there on the market. Cam Jurgens has big shoes to fill, but Cam Jurgens, he spoke about this in his unscripted segment with the Philadelphia Eagles on YouTube. You guys should check that out. They focused on Saquon Barkley and Cam Jurgens on YouTube, the Eagles YouTube channel, their unscripted series. Cam Jurgens spoke about how he's not focused on filling Jason Kelce's shoes. He's more so focused on trying to establish his own identity and establishing his own legacy. And I love that. I love that perspective. But again, Moore spoke about how it's going to be really important for Hurts and Jurgens to work in concert when it comes to the necessary adjustments and the line calls. He says the main goal is to have Jalen Hurts commanding the offense in that nature, but it's going to be really important for Cam and Jalen to be on the same page, and he wants them to work together in that regard. And he also spoke about how he's been really keyed in with Jalen Hurts to build this offense and really cultivate it and carve it entirely around his identity and his skill set. And his abilities to maximize efficiency and effectiveness, right? When it comes to Jalen Hurts, when it comes to any player, really, I don't care about your numbers. I care about efficiency. I care about effectiveness. Simple as that. Efficiency and effectiveness. Are you optimizing? Are you optimizing and maximizing your opportunities? Simple as that. And Kellen Moore has been really locked in with Jalen Hurts to make sure this offense is going to really showcase his abilities. It's going to really showcase what he can really do with these weapons. A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, Saquon Barkley. Kellen Moore is really locked in with Jalen Hurts to make sure that this offense is completely a mirror image of oneself. Taking it a step further, he was asked about the wide receiver 3 position. And he mentioned how one of the key evaluating factors for the wide receiver 3 position, because those guys are competing, Parris Campbell, and we're going to talk about Parris Campbell later on. Parris Campbell, John Ross, Anaya Smith, Johnny Wilson, Joseph Ngata. There's a ton of competition at the position. And I'm going to get to some of you guys' comments too, by the way. Just let me get through this. There's a ton of competition. But Kellen Moore says one of the key evaluating factors for that position, whoever it's going to be, is their ability to adapt to where Devontae and AJ are being utilized and to maximize the opportunities when called upon, right? Because AJ and Devontae, they're never going to strictly be used in a traditional format, right? AJ and Devontae are not just going to line up in the X or line up in the Z, right? It's just not going to be as traditional as that. Kellen Moore spoke about this in the press conference. He wants to be able to use AJ and Devontae all over the field, the X, the Y, the Z, right? Bunch formations, right? Moving them around in motion. He wants to be able to get those guys free releases. He wants to use those guys and be as creative as he possibly can with AJ and Devontae because they're that talented, because they're that dominant at what they do. And whoever wins that wide receiver 3 spot has to be able to fit within those concepts, has to be able to maximize the opportunities when called upon, right? Will it be Parris Campbell? Would it be Anaya Smith or John Ross? Will it be Johnny Wilson? We don't know yet. I think it's going to be Parris Campbell, but we'll talk about Parris Campbell a little later. Doubling back to Jalen Hurts, though, he mentioned how Jalen Hurts is a huge part of the process, right, when it comes to developing his offense and what they're going to do. He says, and I love this. This was my favorite point by Kellen Moore throughout his press conference, right? Make sure you guys continue to smash that like button. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, especially if you're new. I really do appreciate the love and the support. Shout out to my brother Pro Fan Talk. Shout out to Senior Football. I appreciate you guys for being here. Philip Preston was good. So, yeah, Kellen had a statement in his press conference that really, really stood out to me, right? And he was asked about the play calling process and the installations and the concepts as it pertains to Jalen Hurts' comfort, right? And he mentioned that Jalen is a huge part of the process. Quote, Jalen is a huge part of the process. He mentioned how if there is a high comfort level with a core play or concept, the next step in that installation process is finding unique ways to complement it and protect it with a different presentation or look. That's real offensive play calling. That's modern offense right there, right? Being able to make the same formation or being able to maximize a formation or a concept and giving you so many different looks, having so many options from a singular concept or formation, right? Being able to have so many different options, so many different angles to attack a defense with the same formation or the same concept. I love that angle because I think that is what was missing from the Philadelphia Eagles offense in 2023. They had that in 2022 under Shane Steichen. Shane Steichen was masterful. He made everything look damn near the same and gave you so many different variations of the outcome. So that's the goal for this Philadelphia Eagles offense when it comes to Kellen Moore and Jalen Hurts and the rest of the players, right? They want to be able to give, if whatever Jalen Hurts and this team is comfortable executing, whatever Jalen is comfortable executing, right? They want to, or he wants to establish, for one, again, once the comfort level is established with a core play or a core concept, the next step is finding unique ways to complement it and protect it with a different presentation or look. You don't want teams to be able to catch on to what you're doing. So you got to find unique ways to protect it and unique ways and different looks. So they think it's one thing, but it's really another. You got to play mind games, right? Masking, disguising. Defenses aren't the only ones that are doing disguising here. Offenses do it as well. Kellen also spoke on Saquon Barkley being a special player, of course. You know, he spoke about him being able to create so much space for guys like A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, and Dallas Goedert. It's a blessing to have a guy like that in the building. Saquon is going to be a spectacular player for the Philadelphia Eagles. I don't give a fuck what Nick Wright says. He's a fucking hater. Sorry, I kind of jumped off the deep end with that one. He's a Nick Wright. Nick Wright is a hater. I've never seen somebody act this different when they got hair on their head. He got them hair plugs, and now he don't know how to act. Hey, listen, I'm cooking with fish grease. Hide your kids, hide your wife. It's getting dangerous on this side of the fence. We bid in Philly. We cut ass. So I never seen somebody get more confident with hair plugs. I've never seen somebody jump out the window the way Nick Wright does. I used to have respect for Nick Wright. I really did. He used to be one of my favorite commentators, but he's evolved into something else. He's evolved into something else. He's just talking now. He's just saying anything to piss our fan base off, trying to create engagement for his show. And guess what? He's doing it. I'm talking about him right now. So I guess he won. But I don't give a fuck about that. He a sucker, he a flea. Nonetheless, Kellen spoke about Nick Sirianni's involvement as well. And, you know, it was brief. He basically said, you know, when Nick's available, he's involved. You know, he's definitely a part of the process, right? Definitely a part of the process. So, yeah, I really enjoyed Kellen Moore's press conference. It gave us some insight into where they are with this offense. It gave us some insight into Kellen Moore and Jalen Hurts' chemistry. I think Kellen Moore and Jalen Hurts are going to set the NFL on fire. I firmly believe that. All right, let's get to some of you guys' comments here. Habibi says, Nick Wright trying to be like Skip Bayless. Yeah, you don't want to be like Skip, you get fired. JDM Life says, yeah, he stays saying off the wall shit. Yeah, you're right. Coach Corey says Nick Wright can eat can EAD. I don't even watch that BS show. Yeah, and if I do catch a clip, it's only because I like Chris Broussard and I like Broads or Broods. Eagle Slayer says he can eat a Frank. Shine says I can't stand Nick Wright for real. Fish grease and no cornmeal. Talk that talk, Tone. You feel me? Christopher Baker says ever since the Chiefs started winning, Nick Wright has become the biggest Eagles hater. He's a weirdo. He's a weirdo. Every chance he gets, he tries just like the Eagles. How do you have the Jaguars and the Bears as bigger Super Bowl contenders than the Eagles? You sound fucking stupid. The Bears have proven nothing. We don't even know if Caleb Williams can actually play on the NFL level. We don't even know that. We assume that because we saw him make a pretty throw in training camp. We saw Zach Wilson make pretty throws before. Let's see if Caleb Williams can really show action when the kitchen get hot. So again, the Bears have shown nothing. They're unproven. The Jaguars, they're still trying to establish legacy and identity. They just paid Trevor Lawrence. I like that quarterback. I like the head coach. So I like their defense. I think they're trending in the right direction. But again, Jaguars, Bears, bigger Super Bowl contenders than the Eagles. Come on, man. You smoking crack. Kokorski says, Tone, I'm pretty sure Nick Wright is still mad about his Patriots losing to the Eagles in Super Bowl. Actually, that was a time where Nick Wright actually gave the Eagles a lot of love. Philip Preston says, thank you. I've been saying this the whole time, but nobody hearing me. Nick Wright is the biggest hater of the Philadelphia Eagles, especially Jalen Hurts, because he outdid his man in the Super Bowl. They won the Super Bowl. He don't care about that. But he is a shit talker, and I don't like him anymore. All right. Eagle Slayer says, Hurts sure is shit, looks comfortable at camp. Yeah. Let's see if it translates to the football field, though, right? Or let's see if it translates to the real live NFL action. But so far, so good, Eagle Slayer. So far, so good. Habibi says, what could we get for James Bradberry? I think we can maybe get a sixth. We'll see. I don't know. If we're talking draft picks, I don't know. iShine also says, I think Parris Campbell is going to win that position too. But they might as well put Wilson 6'7" long self at the X or the Y so Smitty and AJ can cook in the slot. Johnny Wilson is a project, but I like him though. But he's a little bit of a project. Philip Preston says, "What's your thoughts on Dean?" I think Nakobe Dean is facing an uphill battle, especially with Zach Bond being highly favored by Vic Fangio. They obviously brought in Devin White. They brought in Oren Burks. That linebacker room has a lot of bodies. They drafted Jeremiah Trotter Jr. The linebacker room is still unproven, though. So is there an angle that Nakobe Dean can take advantage of? Maybe. But his health is the biggest issue. And Zach Bond has not had to deal with that. So we'll see if Nakobe Dean can supplant Zach Bond for that linebacker role opposite Devin White. But, you know, it's an uphill battle for Nakobe Dean. I wish him well. Senior Football says, Tone, how you feeling that Bradberry is still on the team? I mean, it doesn't move me either way because I know Bradberry's not not winning the position. So it doesn't move me either way that he's still on the team. But I think the Eagles are planning to move on from him. My man PFT Pro Fan Talk, he says, I'm locked in, bro. I appreciate you, big dog. Thank you. Philip Preston says, Jalen Hurts is a dog, so I don't see where the concerns come from. Yeah, it's not that the concerns are, it's not that you shouldn't have any sort of like question, but like there's an overcast of doubt on Jalen Hurts' ability to command this offense and be a high caliber NFL quarterback. And that's what I don't agree with, right? But he did come off of a shaky season. His numbers were pretty much identical, but the difference was the turnovers. Jalen Hurts is going to cut down on the turnovers. I strongly believe that. Jalen Hurts doesn't turn the ball over. That's never been his character throughout his football career. High school, college, his first few years in the league, Jalen Hurts has never been a turnover machine. You have 1 year. That's the corny part about it too. Jalen Hurts has 1 year where the turnovers are a little bit of a hitch in the game. Now all of a sudden, oh, I don't know if he's the guy. Shut the hell up. Not you, Philip, but you know what I mean. I don't really get where the heavy concern comes from. My man Mike Call, he says, I'm with Christopher Baker. What are the chances we see Isaiah Rodgers on the field for the Birds? Christopher Baker says, do you think we extend Isaiah Rodgers? So just to, make sure we link these together here, Isaiah Rodgers has to prove that he can still play at the NFL level, though. So far, so good through training camp, but he has to prove that it can translate to the regular season. But I think there's a chance the Eagles extend Rodgers, especially if he has a good year. Excuse me. D. Mizzle says, is it too early to say Jordan Davis was drafted too high? In my opinion, yes. Now, after this season, you can say whatever you want about him. But I think it's a little early to say he was drafted too high. But then again, though, for what you're asking him to do, because he was drafted, 14th or 15th overall? Or 13th? He was drafted between picks 13 and 15, if I'm not mistaken, right? So, I mean, he was a mid-first round pick. That athletic ability he has, that power, that size, if the conditioning can match what we know he can be, I don't think he'll be drafted too high at all. But I think the jury's still out. I think, to be fair to you, D Mizzle, I think the jury is still out. Philip Preston says, I got my Eagles winning against Green Bay. I agree, by the way. Eagle Slayer says, Hurts been slinging that hoe. I feel that, man. I feel that. Daniels T says, Tone, watch out for Acho. He been loud too. Yeah, Acho, listen, I'm telling you, man, when these guys that came in, having like perspectives that you at least respected, all of a sudden when they start getting more money, the network starts requesting more controversy from them, and obviously they're going to follow suit. So yeah, I'm watching Acho. He an op right now. Kyle Kokorski says, Tone, my biggest issue with the Eagles this year was bringing back Sirianni. Yeah, the fan base was kind of split on that. So I feel you. But I think they did the right thing bringing him back ultimately. All right, moving on to another topic here. We addressed, if you guys are just joining the live stream, we've addressed the James Bradberry drama. We've addressed Kellen Moore and Jalen Hurts' chemistry and how this offense could potentially look. We briefly talked about Reed Blankenship and his development and what he could potentially be. I want to dig a little deeper into Jalen Hurts. Pause. Let's rewind that back. Pause. I want to elaborate a little bit more on Jalen Hurts because he had an interview with Charles Davis and Mike Garafolo from NFL Network, I believe yesterday. They were on site and they spoke to him about, bouncing back from the previous season. They spoke to him about his foundation and his initiative, investing in the city of Philadelphia, things like that. They spoke to him about leadership. They spoke to him about what the Philadelphia Eagles are trying to accomplish in this upcoming season. And once again, Jalen Hurts has been delivering the ball with accuracy, anticipation, with authority in training camp thus far. He's been commanding the offense. He's been protecting the football. He's been handling the pressure when protection breaks down very, very well. That's another storyline that hasn't been talked about enough. Whenever the protection broke down in training camp, he's been handling that very well and getting the ball out of his hands with authority and anticipation and confidence. So he's been looking very, very loose. So again, Jalen Hurts has been so far so good through our training camp. But again, it has to translate to the regular season when the bullets start flying. I believe it will, though. But again, Hurts was speaking to Charles Davis and Mike Garafolo from the NFL Network, and they addressed last year not bleeding over to the new year and how the team is really, really talented like they were last year. And they pretty much asked Jalen what his expectations were and also how great this team could potentially be, things of that nature, right? And what I noticed from Jalen Hurts, and you know what? I'll do this, right? This is what we're going to do. Let's make it more interesting here. I'm going to play the clip that I'm going to play a clip that I posted on Twitter of the interview. There was a portion of the interview that really, really, really stood out to me. All right. And then we're going to address it here. So let me okay. All right. Let me scroll down to this. Because I clipped it because it really, really stood out to me. And it's kind of been a theme for Jalen Hurts right now. It's kind of been a theme for him. All right. You guys listen to this, okay? Listen to this.
It's just a matter of everybody buying into their role and everybody doing their job. I think that's as clear as it's going to be. That's going to always be my message. And like I told them day one after we ran that conditioning test, you talk about all this talent we have. And I feel like we've had great talent. We had great talent for about the last 2 years, and we've always had, we've done great things, good things, but the standard is raised, but great talent will win you games. It's not going to last, it's not sustainable like you want it to be, but it will win you games. But the great teams, those are the teams that win you championships. And so I think the focus has been put there and how together we are, how understanding we are of what we're doing, and just trying to be the best team that we can be. Everybody doing their job, mastering their role. It's just
so I hope you guys caught that, right? He spoke about how this team is very, very talented, but we've had talented teams before. The team is talented this year. They were talented last year, and they were talented in 2022. But if you notice, different results. 2022, with that talent, you made it to a Super Bowl. In 2023, with that talent, you were a wild card exit. And in 2024, you're talented, arguably more talented, especially on offense. What will be the result then? And the reality is, like Jalen Hurts said, talent, it's a dime a dozen. Talent can win you games. Let's not get it twisted. Talent can win you games. Sometimes talent can separate wins and losses, right? But talent has a shelf life. Talent isn't sustainable because this is the NFL. Everybody is talented. Everybody is dogs. Everybody are killers. But what separates the great teams from just the good teams, or the good teams from the mediocre teams, or the mediocre teams from the terrible teams, what separates those tiers, great, good, mediocre, terrible, what separates that is chemistry, morale, preparation, consistency, identity. Great teams win championships, not talented teams, great teams. You follow me here? And it seems to me that's been the narrative so far for the Philadelphia Eagles, more so specifically Jalen Hurts. That seems to be the mantra he's pushing. On the first day of training camp, he made it very clear to these guys, look, talent only going to get us so far. Talent is not enough. You think me doing this? Some people say I'm talented. Some people say I'm good at what I do. But I don't do this because of talent, or I'm not able to do this because of talent. I'm able to do this because of preparation. I'm able to do this because of consistency and dedication to my craft. I study myself. I study others. I put the man hours in. I do my research. So talent, yeah, you see it, but it's not enough. So for the Philadelphia Eagles, talent will never be enough. Because if you ask me, the 49ers were significantly more talented than the Kansas City Chiefs. And what happened in the Super Bowl? The Philadelphia Eagles were significantly more talented than the Kansas City Chiefs. What happened in the Super Bowl? Talent is not enough. And Jalen Hurts is telling us that. He's telling us that. Last year, they had the talent, but the coaching was a mess. Everybody has to be rowing in the same direction. Coaches and players included. Hell, throw in the front office. They all got to row in the same direction. Because if they don't, we're going to see the exact result we saw last year. So I love that Jalen Hurts said that on day one. Don't get it twisted. He made it very clear. He said, he's basically saying, listen, don't get it twisted. Yeah, we all talented in this room, but it's not enough. And I don't want you to even enter this room, or I don't even want you on this team if you think talent is enough. Jalen Hurts is loose. Jalen Hurts is setting the tone. Jalen Hurts is exercising the purest form of leadership. He's holding his teammates accountable along with himself, and he's putting in the man hours on and off the turf. This football season is going to be fire because the NFC is better. The league is getting better. These quarterbacks are more talented. These defenses are starting to catch up. The Philadelphia Eagles are trying to establish a new identity here with Kellen Moore. This is going to be an electric football season. But guess what? We're only going to get to the promised land through preparation, through consistency, through being competitive, through chemistry, through team morale. So, again, this has been the theme for Jalen Hurts all throughout training camp thus far. He's been repeating it. He said it in his opening press conference. He said it in his second press conference with the media. He said it in his interview with Mike Garafolo and Charles Davis. He's been saying it to his teammates through the huddle breakdowns. He is making it very clear that talent is not enough. And if you think it is, get the hell out of the room. If you ain't putting in the man hours in, back the hell up. And I respect it. And I love the approach because, once again, talent is not enough. It goes for the Philadelphia Eagles. It goes for the field. It goes for me. It goes for you. Talent is not enough, no matter who you are. Hard work beats talent every day of the week. Preparation beats talent every day of the week. That's the difference between great and good football teams. Let's get to some of your comments here. David says, Tone, I can tell you put in the work and research. I'm a Cowboys fan, but your channel is very factual and great. Hey, I appreciate that. You know, it's so dope that a Cowboys fan is even saying that, right? Listen, I got a lot of respect, right? I respect the opposition because at the end of the day, anybody can get got, right? No one is exempt from getting touched in this league. Anybody can get their head knocked off. So I got a lot of I hold my opposition with high regard because anybody can get got in this league. So I really do appreciate the kind words, David. I really do appreciate it. Anthony Dickerson says, and Jaworski and Philly media question Jalen Hurts' leadership. Listen, I don't buy into old dudes who couldn't hack it. Sorry. And maybe I'm being disrespectful. Maybe I'm being disrespectful to the OGs who watch Ron Jaworski get busy. Maybe I'm being disrespectful. But he pissed me off with the way he addressed Jalen Hurts. They say one thing to your face, but they get on those WIP airwaves and they start talking brazy. So it's all good. It is what it is. Philip Preston says Jalen Hurts is a rare breed, and I'm tired of non-Eagles fans thinking they know my QB. He's hungry. He works hard. He's a dog. I don't doubt him one bit. Call me a homer. I don't care. Hey, listen, Philip, I'm with you on that. James Jones, what's good, big dog? He says the NFC East going to be lit. Well, it's going to be lit for one of us. It's going to be lit for one of us, James. It's going to be lit for one of us. Bruce Banner said, we crumbled like some dank weed. Dank Bird Gang says, all facts, Tone. All right, where are we? Theodore Nicholas says, finally going to read defenses. Yes. Don't be an asshole, Theo. Don't be an asshole. Eagle Slayer says, trust it will translate. Not like he did it before with that sad go Birds. Jinx Wolf says, you don't think we'll be able to get a third rounder for JB? Hell no. Sorry, Jinx. I don't mean to go at you like that, but hell no. We're not. No one's giving up a third rounder for James Bradberry. If the Eagles ever got a third rounder for James Bradberry, that'd be insane. The Eagles barely got a second round pick for Hassan Reddick. Let that sink in. Kyle Kokorski says, Tone, my biggest issue with the Eagles this year was bringing back Sirianni. Oh, I addressed that already. Okay. Where was I? James Jones, he said, I had my phone in my pocket. I'm working. Hey, I appreciate you for locking in, James, even on the job. Philip Preston says, great show. I like the trio with you, Lord Brunson, and Simone. Yeah, listen, Simone is awesome. She's tremendous at what she does. Lord Brunson, tremendous, spectacular at what he does, man. They're truly one of one. They stand on their own. They're amazing individuals. The amount of time and resources they invest in their product is something to be admired. And I love what they do. I respect what they do. And I love working with them. Whenever I get the opportunity to work with them, it's always love. So yeah, Philip, I'm glad that you enjoyed the show. And hopefully I'll be able to bring them on again. Thanks, James. I appreciate the kind words. Thank you, James. I really do appreciate the kind words. Dank Bird Gang says, oh, a customer just walked in with a Chiefs jersey. Oh, man. Bruce Banner says, rather have Bradberry than a fresh rookie out there. Plus, Bradberry with CJ work good together. Now, that's a good point. Bradberry played his best football when CJ was right there with him. So you may have a point there. But again, I don't think it's a mental thing with Bradberry. I think it's physical. I don't know if he can hack it physically anymore. And I want those younger guys out there. If it's me, I want those young guys out there. I'm tired of relying on old heads to get stuff done. Jason A-Team says, Tone. He says Tone should have still been on Jacob. Nah, it's okay. It's all right. Things happen for a reason. God got me. I'm not thinking about Jacob Sports not one bit. They're doing their thing. I'm doing my thing. It's that simple. I wish them the best. I pray for them. I hope they're doing well. I don't keep up with what they're doing. I'm so tunnel vision with my product. It's ridiculous. So, look, I'll put it to you this way, Jason 18. You win some, you lose some. But you live. You live to fight another day. All right. Let's get to another topic I have here. Once again, if you guys are just hopping into the live stream, we've addressed the James Bradberry drama. His press conference was very insightful. We talked about Kellen Moore and Jalen Hurts' chemistry and how Kellen Moore plans to install this new offense and how Jalen and Cam Jurgens are going to start to establish their chemistry and things of that nature, and how A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith could potentially be used along with Saquon Barkley, things like that. So we really got into the Kellen Moore, Jalen Hurts connection. We also talked about Reed Blankenship and what his ceiling could potentially be, and whether or not he's a potential starter. We also double back to Jalen Hurts and his approach to the season and his leadership, and also his perspective on what this team should look like going forward. I think Jalen Hurts has the right mentality here. Talent is not enough. He spoke on that, and he means that wholeheartedly. Let's see, what else do I have here? Some other people spoke as well. We had Mekhi Becton speak, Isaiah Rodgers, Parris Campbell spoke yesterday as well. Kelly Ringo also spoke yesterday. Kelly Ringo, he's another player that's competing. Isaiah Rodgers, those two players are competing for grass time. The cornerback room is loaded. Again, going back to James Bradberry, he mentioned it. The cornerback room is loaded, and he doesn't really see a space for him there. Hence why he's trying to transition to safety. But Quinion Mitchell, Isaiah Rodgers, Cooper DeJean, Kelly Ringo, Avonte Maddox, all those guys are competing. All those guys are competing. And, Isaiah Rodgers, he spoke about the competition and being able to separate himself. One thing, they asked him, how do you separate yourself, right? He made it very clear. He says, listen, it's not complicated. You got to make plays. And if you don't make plays, you're not going to play. And he's not taking his opportunity for granted. He knows the game can be taken from you in an instant, and he's taking he's taking his opportunity very seriously. Kelly Ringo, he spoke about competition, and he's used to it from being in Georgia. And Kelly Ringo's been making strides so far, entering his second season with the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles have some really good talent at that position, and if they continue to nurture it and cultivate it, man, oh man, the Philadelphia Eagles can be dangerous at the cornerback position. Quinion Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, Isaiah Rodgers, Kelly Ringo, in my opinion, those are the core four guys at the cornerback position. Notice I didn't mention Darius Slay because he's solidified. I also think this is Darius Slay's last season with the Philadelphia Eagles. That's just my opinion. So yeah, you want those young guys to start to get confident. You want those young guys to start to establish their own identity. You want those guys to get on the grass, and the competition is only going to make those guys get better. So Kelly Ringo and Isaiah Rodgers, they understand the competition. They've talked about each other in their interviews, and they have a ton of respect for each other. And they know at the end of the day, regardless, the best players got to be on the field. They know, and I'm sure they want in their heart of hearts, that they want the best players on the football field. Here's the caveat, though. They better make sure it's one of them. That's how they got to approach it. They want the best football players on the field. They want to win. It's a team sport at the end of the day. So you want to be a team player. And you don't need to watch someone else's plate to see whether or not you're good at what you do. You go out there, you make plays, you take advantage of your reps, you take advantage of your opportunities, and the coaches will make the right decision. You just better make sure that you're one of them. And that's where the competition comes in. One person's press conference that really, really stood out to me, Parris Campbell. Parris Campbell gave the Eagles media a lot to sink their teeth into. He gave them a lot of material. And I have even more respect for Parris Campbell. He was so transparent. He was so vulnerable. And this is going to be our final topic, by the way, you guys. I appreciate you guys for locking in. Make sure you guys continue to smash that like button. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. I appreciate you guys. My name is Tone DeShields II. If you don't already know, you guys have been locked in to Chalk It Up Sports, where no matter if we win or if we lose, we just got to charge it to the game. So let's approach this Parris Campbell topic, and then we're going to get out of here. Parris Campbell, he gave the Philadelphia Eagles a lot, the media, I mean. And Parris Campbell, he spoke about taking advantage of his opportunity with the Philadelphia Eagles and just doing his job when his number is called. He said, and I quote, "When I see the ball coming my way, I got to make it. I got to make it. I got to take advantage of the opportunity. You don't get many of these." And he also discussed how he's taking his chemistry and his relationship with Jalen Hurts very seriously, because he understands that that's going to make or break him making his roster. His connection with Jalen Hurts, the trust that Jalen Hurts has in him, that's going to make or break Parris Campbell not only making his roster, but winning the wide receiver 3 position. He's taking that role very, very seriously. So I really do appreciate his perspective on that. And he mentioned how he entering 2024, he has a significant chip on his shoulder entering the season. And he felt like in 2023, his time with the New York Giants was a big setback for him. You know, he dealt with injury on the back end of the season, or I think he actually said that he wasn't active. I don't know if it was injury, as a matter of fact. I can't remember if it was an injury or they just made him inactive. But the final 4 or 5 games of the season for the New York Giants, Parris Campbell was inactive and he wasn't playing. And he started to lose confidence a little bit, and he started to lose sight of whether or not he could actually play in this league. He began to doubt himself a little bit. He kind of went through a little bit of a depression. He mentioned how, you know, he was kind of eating for comfort, and he gained weight, and he kind of was losing sight of the bigger picture. And, you know, he was eating terribly. He gained weight, and he realized that, you know, I need to focus on what I can control, right? He needs to focus on what he can control, and he needs to focus on the next opportunity and maximizing that, right? You know, he mentioned that, you know, he was in the dark place mentally and physically, and he didn't know if he would get another opportunity. He didn't know if another team will call. He started thinking about life at the football. He started questioning if things would come. You know, he mentioned how his wife went through a little bit of a dark place because, you know, they were kind of, they were bouncing a lot. His wife was having to drive, you know, over an hour to drop the kids off at school. You know, it was a heavy time for him and his entire family, but they stayed prayed up. They stayed true to the grind. He got back in that gym. He was working out 2 to 3 times a day to get his body right, to make sure he was ready for free agency. He had a conversation with the Philadelphia Eagles, and they gave him an opportunity. And now he's trying to maximize it. He's taking his opportunity with the Philadelphia Eagles very seriously, and he has true gratitude for his position here. And he's competing with everybody. And he even mentioned how, you know, on the first day, and I say this quote, right? He says, the first day, AJ made a great point to the room. This room can't have feelings. We're all competing. We're all here to do a job. Don't take correction personal. If someone's trying to tell you something, don't take it personal. Take it in and elevate your game beyond that. So Parris Campbell is locked in this year. I can see it. I can feel it. I think Parris Campbell is going to win that wide receiver 3 spot, and I think Parris Campbell is going to maximize his opportunities. Parris Campbell spoke about having AJ and Smitty next to him and how that creates so many opportunities for him. And he said he likes himself in one-on-one situations. I like somebody that confident. He said it. He said, with AJ and Devontae playing next to me, that puts me in one-on-one situations, and I like me in those situations. So that confidence has returned, right? That belief in oneself has returned. He believes he's extremely capable of really locking down that position. I like the demeanor. I like how he's carrying himself. I like the things he's saying. This is going to be a hell of a season. The position battles are in full effect. There's position battles at the DB room. There's position battles at linebacker. There's position battles on the edge. There's position battles with the wide receivers, right? This is a good situation to be in with the Philadelphia Eagles. Everybody understands the assignment. Everyone understands that talent is not enough. We're going to work hard here. This Philadelphia Eagles team that's led by Jalen Hurts, they understand that it doesn't matter how talented you are. Anybody can get got. They understand that as quickly as you rise, you can fall. They've experienced the high of the highs. They've experienced the low of the lows. And now I think this is a time where they've got the right people in the building to get the job done. And I anticipate the Philadelphia Eagles making it to the Super Bowl. They are legitimate Super Bowl contenders. Believe it. Believe it, Philadelphia. Believe it, America. Whether you like it or not, the Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl contenders. They're coming for blood. They're taking everything from you. They're pillaging villages. This is not going to be a situation where you can come in Philadelphia and think that, oh, Philadelphia, they light work. You're going to play yourself fucking with us like that. You're going to get hurt messing with us like that. There's a lot of investment in this situation right now. The stakes for the Philadelphia Eagles are extremely high. They invested a lot in this team. Saquon Barkley, Bryce Huff, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Jalen Hurts. They've invested a lot of money. Landon Dickerson, Jonah Mailata. They've spent a lot of money this offseason. They got to make it mean something. They brought in experienced coaches, Kellen Moore, Vic Fangio, Nick Sirianni. This is a big season for you as well. The stakes are high, but guess what? There's a lot of people sleeping on the Philadelphia Eagles. And believe it or not, the Philadelphia Eagles operate better like that. The Philadelphia Eagles, for some reason, operate better when they're hated on. They operate better when they're doubted. And I think this is going to be a tremendous season for the Philadelphia Eagles. I think this is going to be a tremendous season for Jalen Hurts. I think Jalen Hurts is going to go the fuck off. And guess what? A lot of people are going to be upset. So we're going to leave it at that. I'm so grateful for the amount of love you guys have been giving me today and days prior. You guys are truly committed to this product that I'm trying to develop here. You guys have been locked in on the content. You guys have been hitting the like button. You guys have been subscribing. I love newcomers. I'm so grateful for my OG subscribers. I'm so grateful for people who watch this after the fact, right? Sometimes you can't catch the live stream in real time. So I'm so grateful for people who take the time out, who come to the channel, click the links, they click the videos, they watch them, they break it down. Maybe they watch 15, 20 minutes there, 30 minutes, 40 minutes there. I'm so grateful for people who come back after the fact and watch the live streams when they get the opportunity, because that stuff goes a long way. The likes go a long way. The subscriptions go a long way. Make sure you guys, please, please, please hit that notification bell as well. The notification bell makes you guys fully aware whenever I go live or wherever I drop content. I'm grateful for you guys for locking in on my interview with Glenn Irby. Reminder, Glenn Irby is a managing editor and writer for the Eagles Wire and the Ravens Wire for USA Today Sports. That's a very, very large publication. So make sure you guys double back if you haven't already. Make sure you guys watch my interview with Glenn Irby. He provides a lot of insight on the Philadelphia Eagles. And also, if you guys haven't already, make sure you guys check out my conversation with Lord Brunson, one of the best Eagles content creators out there. One of the hardest up and coming rappers in the game right now. Go lock in on my conversation with Lord Brunson, and make sure you guys lock in with Simone Stanley as well. Simone Stanley and Lord Brunson, they gave me a hell of a conversation. Simone Stanley does an amazing work for ESPN. She does amazing work for the SWAC. She does amazing work. And her interviews are so dope. She interviewed Caitlin Clark. She interviewed Isaiah Rodgers. She interviewed Quinion Mitchell. You know what I mean? She interviewed Dawn Staley, Philly's own Dawn Staley. You feel what I'm saying? So Lord Brunson, Simone Stanley, make sure you guys go lock in on that conversation we had. The content is up there. Go lock in on that. It was really tremendous, and I'm so grateful for them for giving me the time that they had. So make sure you guys smash the like button. Make sure you guys subscribe to the show. Make sure you guys keep commenting. If you guys want to donate to the channel, if you guys want to invest in the channel, you can do that right now. If you don't want to do it right now, you guys can do it after the live stream, and you can do it via the comment section. They're called super thanks, and you'll be able to invest in and donate to the channel if you so choose. That's your prerogative. I appreciate all the love. I appreciate all the hate. I love all the well wishes, and I want all the curses, because at the end of the day, I'm a Philadelphia Eagles fan, and we killing everything, and we taking heads, we taking bodies, we burying them, and we going to the funeral and giving your mom a hug saying, I'm so sorry for your loss. Shout out to my man James Jones with the $4.99 donation. Thank you, James. I really do appreciate the love, my friend, and your investment. He says this Thursday pre-starts. Can't wait. Can't wait in there. Can't wait to talk our matchup and more all season. Hail to these Redskins, baby. Hey, listen, man. James, I really do appreciate it. It's going to be a hell of a season at the end of the day. You're right. It is going to be competitive because the Commanders always play us competitively. That's just the reality. So it's going to be a hell of a season. I do think the NFC East is going to be more interesting, but I think we got that in the bag. This is my opinion. But again, James, thank you so much for investing in the channel. Like I said, we support the Philadelphia Eagles here. And we know what the expectation is. We know what the Philadelphia Eagles are capable of with this roster, with that quarterback. Like I said, we ain't taking no prisoners. Burn the boats. We're not going back home. It ends here. It ends here. Because as far as I'm concerned, we're putting people in body bags. And we going to the funeral. And we giving your mama a hug and telling her, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for your loss. We cold-blooded this season. And it's straight like that. I've been your humble host, Tone DeShields II. And you guys have been locked in on a very, very special Sunday edition of Chalk It Up Sports, where no matter if we win or if we lose, we just got to charge it to the game.